Hey everybody, welcome to Money Monday. Today we are budgeting out our first paycheck in the month of August. We are paid weekly, so that means every single week I sit down and budget out our money. August is an exciting month because there are 5 Fridays this month, so let's get into it. All right, so here's kind of what the month looks like. So you can see 5 paychecks here. This summer has been really, really rough. I will link the last video I did talking about that. I'll have it like in a card above, and I'll put it at the end of the video as well. You can see we have a theme this month, Austere August, and I'm talking about that in a video coming up later this week. Anyway, so I sat down, went through, put down all the things that are due certain days, and I did the same thing last month and realized, okay, we have a problem. So through the summer, our income was a little bit lower because I make a little bit less money in the summertime. But anyway, so we were running into these like bottlenecks where we have like a lot of stuff due. And so what we decided to do, and this is very controversial in the budget community, but we decided to put like our regular bills on our credit card and then pay them off. Okay. Now some of you are like, oh my God, pearl clutching and all the things. But we've done this with gas in the past. I loved it because I knew exactly what I needed to pay like at the beginning of the month. And it wasn't, I was always feeling like discombobulated. Like, oh, we budgeted, $200 and it was actually like $250, whatever the case may be. So there's that. And kind of the same thing with utilities, right? Because utilities go like up and down. So anyway, I still put it on here because I was like, okay, yeah, I'm glad we're doing that, because there was like a week this month where it was like, oh, maybe we don't buy groceries. Anyway, but yeah, this is kind of the overview here. Now, something's stuck there. That's amazing. All right. So you can see this very first week here is super incredible. So I sat down last week and kind of wrote down, okay, I budget on worst case scenario. Normally our worst case is $1,200 a week. But then my husband at his job was put on backup one day, which means, and he works 10-hour days. So has a pretty significant impact when that happens. So instead of $1,200, I was like, okay, it's going to be closer to $1,000. So we have $1,000, and I was rolling over. Initially, I was counting Ibotta and Upside as 60, and then I knew that I was going to be getting something because I went downtown Friday to do First Friday Art Walk and sell some of my stuff, but I didn't know how much it was going to be. I also didn't know how much the rollover was going to be, so I was like, okay, we're looking at $1,060, and I went through all the things that we needed to pay with that, and I was like, oh, look at that, -90. I knew that wasn't going to be quite reality, but I kind of wanted to get a grasp of where things sit or sat. So anyway, these are the real numbers. This is what ended up coming in. So this is between my husband and myself. So we ended up doing $1,080.97. Our rollover was $87.83. This is Ibotta, the 30/30. Upside came in a Walmart gift card. And so I just decided to cross that out, and we were going to use some of that for my stepdad's birthday. So I just crossed that out, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need to put it on my actual budget. That can just be sitting to the side. My nephew has a birthday next week, so we'll use the rest of that. And then if there's any over, we'll pull that over out of our budget. Anyway, and then as far as small business, I sat downtown for 2.5 hours at the art walk and walked away with $85 in profit, which is not bad. The students are not back yet. We live in a university town, very artsy university town, and they're not here. So, well, they're starting to come back, but next month I'll be there, and there will be more people because they'll be here. Anyway, so let's go ahead and add this up. 97 plus 87, 83. All right. So 1284.10. So with all that extra stuff, we managed to come up to pretty dang close to my worst case scenario budgeting. So that's amazing. Okay, so this mortgage payment is actually our August payment. I do typically like to take a quarter of the payment, which is not this. This is like half. A quarter of the payment and set it aside. However, like I said, things were super messed up. So we're having to pay half with the August 1st paycheck. So we have 806 right there. 806. And then we'll do the 75 for the food. This was back to school. I actually went and did that already. And this was just, we have 4 kids, so if you don't know, this is just school supplies. And then I also restocked the girls on feminine hygiene products, but that was it. And this isn't buying like the super, this is like going to the Walmart, back to school deal aisle. But anyway, I digress. So after that, we have 242.02 remaining, and that is not accurate. We're going to have to make an adjustment here because even though at the beginning of this workbook, there is a page in there for subscriptions, right? And hey, when are those subscriptions going to come out? Well, guess what? My Amazon Prime is in August, and guess who didn't account for that? This girl. So let's go over here, and we'll go over this in just a moment. My Amazon Prime was $150.09. So, I have a really hard time writing straight up and down. 150.09. All right. You can see here that I budgeted $100 for haircuts for the kids. That's not going to happen because, you subtract 100 out of 242 and you get 142. Well, Amazon Prime already came out at 150. So we're going to hold off on haircuts. And yes, we get them for $100. I actually travel. It is less expensive for me to travel to a town 2 hours away and get all 4 kids their haircuts. No, really, I'm after the girls, right? Because the girls' haircuts are the ones that are expensive. But when I go, I just take a little guy too and get his haircut at the same time. But yeah, that is how much it costs because she charges like $10 for kids. And I'm like, these are teenagers. You should be charging more, but she doesn't. So I'm like, okay. And then tip, whatever. It's like $100. It's crazy, but it is. So subtract out my Prime. And we've got $91.93 remaining. So that is better than the negative 90 that was initially planned. So that is just going to sit here. I don't want to run this account down to absolutely nothing. That's still pretty low. But you don't know. Like, I don't think anything else is set to come out. I've got it planned out pretty well. Like I said, I forgot about that annual subscription. But there's no other automatic payment that comes automatically out of our checking account until the middle of the month. So we should be set here. And we are not, it's austere August. Like, we are not doing any unplanned spending. So that should still be there next week. But, we're just going to leave that there for the moment. Next week, I'll come back and kind of finalize this when we do, and then we'll do the paycheck for that week. Now let's go back over here to tracking. Boop. Okay, so you can see I already have all of the various like utilities, gas each time already on here. So what happens is when I get to a bill in our check, I just go log in and I like pay that bill like I would normally. So, right here, City of Columbia Utilities, $248.68. And when I'm doing my budget, the check that it makes sense to take that out of. This is why I like doing it this way, because I'm not bound by this item is coming out of this check. And in the middle of the month, we have several large items that come out at one time. So I do like this. It gives me more control over what check it comes out of. But in any case, instead of going to Columbia City of Utilities, I just go and put that on the credit card. And by the end of the month, ta-dun, there's no balance. Yeah, so the last thing I actually pay on the credit card is typically the gas. But anyway, let's get some of these things highlighted because some of these things have already come out of the account. And so Amazon Prime, that already came out. And I have that in our budget as miscellaneous. So there's that. And then back to school, I paid out of the checking account. So that is already out as well. So there it is, pretty short and sweet. Since we do weekly budgeting, typically is, but yeah. Oh, let's talk about food for a moment. You can see here, $75. Again, it's austere August, so we're really, plus this week, super tight. There are 6 people in our family, so $75 a week is not truly sustainable on a regular basis. But we do have food in the pantry. We've got a little bit in the freezer, a little bit. Okay, that's another story for another time. Because that's another issue. I forgot to tell you guys about that last video. But we've got some food in the freezer, we've got food in the pantry, so we basically are just buying fill-in items and fresh stuff. So 75 should be more than enough for that. All right, so there it is. If I didn't mention it earlier, I am using, oh boy, oh why? Okay, I am using the Budget by Paycheck workbook from the Budget Mom. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that looking at your August budget, things are shaping up well for you. See you guys next time.